Stop. There is something you will see before you die. Everyone will. Not in years, not in the future, but in the final moments, when it's already too late. Jesus warned us about this, yet almost no one talks about it. He said there would be a moment when the truth becomes undeniable, a moment where belief turns into certainty. No arguments, no excuses, no second chances. People think death is darkness, but Jesus described it as revelation, a moment where the soul sees what the heart ignored for a lifetime. And the most terrifying part? You don't get to rewind. You don't get to explain. You don't get more time. This is not fear. This is a warning, because once you see it, it's already over. Throughout history, people have feared death, not because of pain, but because of what comes after. Jesus spoke about death in a way no one else did. He didn't describe it as disappearance. He described it as awakening. Jesus warned that there would be a moment when the truth becomes impossible to deny. A moment when faith is no longer a choice, because reality stands right in front of you. In the gospel, Jesus spoke about people who lived confidently, believing they had time to change, time to repent, time to believe later. But he warned that this moment does not belong to the living world. It comes at the edge, between life and what follows. Jesus often spoke in parables, stories about servants who delayed their duties, about people who ignored warnings, about doors that were once open and then suddenly closed. The message was always the same. There is a point where preparation ends, a point where excuses no longer matter, a point where knowing the truth changes nothing, because action is no longer possible. This is why Jesus warned again and again, stay awake, not physically, but spiritually. Because according to his words, the most shocking realization does not come during life. It comes at the moment when life slips away. And that realization is simple, yet devastating. You always knew, but you waited. And when that moment arrives, there is no fear left, only understanding, an understanding that comes when it can no longer be acted upon. There is a moment spoken of in whispers, not taught in detail, not explained clearly, but hinted at again and again, a moment when the veil is lifted. According to the teachings of Jesus, there is a point where the physical world loses its grip and something else begins to take its place. This is not imagination. This is not metaphor alone. It is a transition. Jesus spoke of eyes that would see and ears that would finally hear. Not the eyes of the body, but the eyes of the soul. In that moment, distractions disappear. Titles mean nothing. Money carries no weight. Opinions fall silent. What remains is awareness, a sudden, overwhelming clarity. Many believe they will have time to reflect when death comes. Time to negotiate, time to explain, time to bargain. But Jesus warned that this moment is not a conversation. It is a realization. He described people who were shocked, not because they didn't know, but because they recognized what they had ignored. The truth does not arrive as new information. It arrives as confirmation, a confirmation of every warning dismissed, every feeling silenced, every moment the heart whispered, "This matters more than you think." This is why Jesus spoke about separation, about paths that diverge, about outcomes that are no longer chosen, only revealed. The most unsettling part is not judgment, it is memory. Remembering how many times the truth stood nearby and was postponed, how many moments could have changed everything, but were delayed. In that final awareness, there is no panic, only stillness, a stillness filled with understanding, and that understanding carries a single unbearable weight. This could have been different, but now the veil is lifted, and the time for choosing has passed. The reason these warnings exist is not to create fear. They exist because there is still time. Jesus never spoke about the final moment to terrify people. He spoke about it to awaken them. Again and again, his message was clear. The warning is not for the dying, it is for the living. Jesus spoke to ordinary people, workers, families, those busy with life, people who believed they would always have tomorrow. And he warned them gently, but firmly, that tomorrow is never guaranteed. This is why his words carry urgency, not panic, urgency. He spoke of watching, of being ready, of living with awareness, not because life is meaningless, but because it is fragile. Jesus never said that mistakes define us forever. He said awareness changes everything. As long as you are breathing, the door is not closed. As long as you are listening, the warning still has purpose. This is the difference between now and that final moment. Now reflection is possible. Now change is possible. Now understanding can still become action. Jesus spoke about light, not as something distant, but as something near, something you turn toward. That is why his message was not about despair. It was about direction, about choosing what truly matters, before distractions steal another day, before silence replaces opportunity. The final realization will come to everyone, but Jesus' warning exists so that it does not come as regret. It exists so that awareness arrives, while it can still shape a life. This moment, right now, is the moment he was speaking to. Not the end, the chance. The question is no longer, what happens before death? The real question is this: what do we do with this warning while we are still alive? Jesus never asked people to become perfect. He asked them to become honest. Honest about what matters, honest about what doesn't, honest about the direction their lives are moving in. Many people think change requires a dramatic moment, a collapse, a crisis, a tragedy. But Jesus taught something quieter. He spoke about small decisions, daily awareness, a heart that listens instead of postpones. This warning is not about fear of death. It is about the value of life, about noticing how easily days slip by, how quickly priorities shift, how often the important is replaced by the urgent. Jesus warned about distraction, not because people were evil, but because they were asleep. Busy, comfortable, certain that tomorrow would always come. The warning exists to interrupt that sleep, to ask you to pause, not your life, but your direction, to look honestly at what you are becoming. Because awareness does not demand immediate answers. It only asks for sincerity, a willingness to listen when something inside says, "This matters more than you think." This is not about religion as habit. It is about faith as attention, about choosing presence over distraction, meaning over noise, purpose over delay. Jesus spoke about light, not as something to admire from a distance, but as something to walk in. And walking in light does not begin with certainty. It begins with intention, with the decision to stop waiting for a better time, to stop assuming there will always be more chances, because the warning you are hearing now is proof of something powerful. You are not too late. Not yet. This moment still belongs to you, and what you choose to do with it matters more than you realize. One day, everyone reaches the same moment. Not loudly, not dramatically. Quietly, the noise fades, the distractions fall away, and what remains is clarity. Jesus spoke about this moment, not so we would fear it, but so we would live differently before it arrives. Because when that final understanding comes, it does not come with questions. It comes with answers. Answers that were always there, waiting to be taken seriously. This message is not about the end of life. It is about the value of the days before it, about choosing awareness over delay, meaning over distraction, truth over comfort. No one knows when that moment will come, but everyone knows this. When it does, nothing new can be changed. Only what was already chosen will remain. That is why this warning exists, not for someday, for today. Because if you are hearing this now, then you are still early, still breathing, still choosing, still able to walk in the light. And that means one thing: it is not too late. Not yet. Use the time that was given. Remember the warning, and live in a way that you won't have to regret when the silence finally comes.